you can have a stellar strategy, but if you are lacking visually, nobody is going to maintain interest.
Yeah. We're Sahara and Michaela, co-founders of Refine Marketing.
From corporate 9-to-5s to building and scaling multiple million-dollar companies in less than 5 years, we're not afraid to get into the nitty-gritty.
Giving you a raw and real look at what it takes to build and sustain a business.
This is Rise and Refine.
Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Rise and Refine podcast. We're excited for this one.
Yeah, this is one that we get asked very frequently because our content is so different. I don't know. I feel like it's very different.
Yeah.
We worked really hard for it to be very different from all of our competitors in the industry when it comes to brand and web design and how we positioned ourselves. And so we're going to be talking all about brand photos.
Yes, like the whole playbook for getting brand photos done for your business.
Yeah.
So, which we're excited because let's talk about the why behind it first before we get into the playbook, because I feel like people don't still to this day want to spend the money to do this. And that blows my mind.
Yeah.
So to you, how would you describe the why to somebody of why they should do this?
I mean, to me, it's imperative. So your brand is kind of like the foundation of what your business is all about, who your target audience is, your marketing strategy. The branding photos are the icing on the cake. It's what makes everything come together and become cohesive.
Yeah.
And so if you can have a stellar strategy, but if you are lacking visually, nobody is going to maintain interest.
Yeah.
At least that's what it feels like to me.
I think so. For me, it just levels up all my marketing. And
yes, it definitely does.
While so many people are like, well, the amount of money it costs, I'm like, do you understand how versatile those photos can be used? Is that the right word? Because you can use them for your Instagram, for your cover photos on TikTok, for YouTube cover photos, for your website, for guides that you make for your
marketing
business.
collateral, downloadables, like different
like
PDFs,
print, digital,
whatever.
Everything. Like, it's not like you take pictures and you only use them for one thing. You take these pictures and they become the brand. They become the face behind the brand, and you put them on everything.
Yes.
So
it's part of your visual identity. It becomes part of your brand. The style of photos that you take, the photographer and videographer that you choose, all of that is
the poses, the props, the location, all of it.
It has to be so specific and planned out. And that's why whenever we do a photo shoot, we just did one, and it was so funny. We got a DM saying that, like, she was saying that our photo shoots, whenever we post about them on our stories, the behind the scenes, she was saying that it's her Super Bowl, which is so the highest compliment ever, because we take such pride in really trying to be different in our industry with how we visually look and feel.
Yeah.
I mean, orange is obviously not a standard color when it comes to branding or choosing a color to brand yourself to. So we are going to give you our playbook, how we think through photo shoots, how this step-by-step guide of what we work through, when we work through it,
how we plan them, why they turn out the way they do, how we choose locations, photographers, all of it. Yeah. And it's funny because most people are probably like, will you just show up and take pictures? The amount of prep work that goes into making these happen, because when I first started doing photo shoots, I had that mindset, well, just show up, it'll look good. And you have to really put in a lot of work to get the results that you want.
Yeah. And I'm such a visual person that sometimes it's very hard for me to articulate what is in my head to paper.
Yeah.
And so the more detail I put in, the better, because it's just the way that my brain works. But I know that if I put more detail into a shot list and saying, like, lay on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, okay, actually it's lay on the floor with a laptop to your right, papers scattered around.
Orange pen here.
Orange pen. Yeah,
wear
exactly.
this outfit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glass, blue light glasses on head. Like, to me, I know that I'm going to get the exact shot that we need for a specific marketing piece.
Yes.
Instead of just saying lay on the floor.
Yes, 1,000%.
So anyway.
So that's why our nails are done. Because yesterday we had a photo shoot. It's even the orange nails. And then I always make sure to not have orange nails and to have neutral nails.
because I always have orange.
Because she always has orange. That way, if we need neutral nails for something, we have both. Like if we have an orange piece of paper, neutral nails. So we're not like overdoing it too.
Yeah.
If you have a team and you're like, well, how do I get my team like in a nice way to wear what I want, look the way I want, and make sure they come prepared, we will send them a whole like photo shoot day of guide where it has an approved color palette. These are the only colors you're allowed to wear. Like, that's what I'm saying. It takes a lot of prep.
We're going to first start off with when you're planning for a photo shoot. All right. So you really want to start looking at something 4 to 6 weeks out prior to the photo shoot date.
Minimum.
Typically, this one was the one that we just shot was more of a mini shoot.
Yeah.
It's for something that we're rolling out in March. And so we knew that we knew our photographer and videographer could already do it because we had asked prior to even thinking about this shoot or making this shoot happen. So we knew that they were available. So that took out one of the biggest restraints, I guess, when it comes to planning a photo shoot.
When we say 4 to 6 weeks, we need to clarify on that because this is really important, that a lot of photographers can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months to get you pictures back. Yeah. And so if you are doing like a 1 year photo shoot and you want those for your 1 year, don't wait 4 to 6 weeks. Like, that's where you should come in 2 to 3 months because you have to give your photographer time to be able to edit. Yeah.
I literally had that on there. Look at their turnaround time and see, or if they don't have it listed, ask if they have a rush delivery option. If you have flexibility in your budget after everything to have a little bit of wiggle room to pay for that service. We've definitely had to do that just because we had scheduling conflicts or there was an issue with our like shoot location that we wanted to use. So definitely look at that. But the first is to look at your brand, your target audience, and how you want to position yourself in the market.
Yes.
Because if you are say you're in real estate, how would you try to position yourself differently than other realtors in your area? Talk us through that.
Well, you have to do research, and that's where this comes in, is like as part of the prep work. I have this saying, and Michaela knows this because I talk about it. I like to try to be as original as I can and not do the same as others, but you get inspired by others too, right?
Right.
Like, get inspired by our photo shoots. We'd love to see that, right?
Yeah.
So in real estate specifically, what we do is we make sure that we do this every year. It's never the same location. I, in fact, am getting tired of like even like just doing it at a house and trying to think outside of that. Like, can we do it downtown in a city? Can we do it at a restaurant or a cafe that looks like a really cool office space? Like, think of a photo shoot location that makes you stand out that not everybody else is at, because everybody wants to go to the same pretty house. Setting yourself up to look different. It's, to me, all about the location and the props. Like, okay, instead of holding a key, maybe we hold flowers and put them in a home like you're living there versus the key to opening a door, right? Instead
I know
of
Realtor Taylor McAllister, somebody that we've had on the podcast, she's known for disco balls.
Yes. And Diet Coke.
Yes. And so instead of one of her earlier photo shoots, instead of just doing like a normal vase on a kitchen island, she actually did a disco ball vase and had the flowers in there.
Oh,
and that
really?
was
I didn't know she did that.
Oh, yeah.
See, great minds think alike.
And
I was going to flowers too.
And so one of her colors was red. And so I believe she was in like a red blazer. She had the disco ball on the counter. And so even though she is not directly saying like, hey, I'm the disco ball realtor, like this is what I'm known for, this is how I branded myself, she's using little elements of her brand to elevate her existing branding.
She's not doing the same as everyone else.
Yes.
So I think that goes back to, you have to think through, well, what are things that are going to make me stand out? What makes me different? And what are some props that relate to that I can really bring into it?
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And sometimes some of the things that you're wanting to do might not resonate with your audience.
Yes.
So making sure that you understand who your ideal client is, you look at what their interests are, what their dislikes are, and you're kind of tailoring your content to that in a way that they're going to receive it best, and not like, you're not going to get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Like, you're still being original with certain things. You're looking at for different ways to shoot content, and it not be, I don't know, so mundane.
Well, I think a lot of times people think of photo shoot, they think the typical like me, face of me, picture of me, how do I look the best? And I think a photo shoot should, like you just said, be, well, what's going to attract? Like if I'm scrolling, what's going to stand out and make me be like, who is this? What is this? Let me click.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody's going to be like, oh, that's a pretty picture of your face for a business, right? It's going to be, what do you sell? Who is your client? So think about that in your photo shoots.
And it comes down to, you know, putting a little bit of your own personality into the shoot as well. Don't put yourself in clothes that you wouldn't normally wear. So, I mean,
we bring our closet.
We literally bring our whole closet.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll buy certain things for the shoot. Like I ended up buying a new shirt from Abercrombie for this shoot. It was something that was I still felt confident and comfortable in.
Yeah, like you're everyday.
Yes.
Which this gets into like hair and makeup for a photo shoot.
You're jumping around.
But you're talking about outfits and styling, so I want to really quickly talk about this. Like I think some photo shoots I will do hair and makeup, and then some, depending on the look, I won't, which is funny because we were on the complete opposite page yesterday.
For the first time ever.
Yes, because I did not want hair and makeup because to me it was about what we were portraying. Where there's nothing wrong. You had a reason for it. I wanted to portray more about what we were talking about, not me and looking a certain way. But also you have to know how you look in photos.
Yes.
And I've learned over time, the more makeup I have, the more unlike myself I look. So you pull off more makeup better than I do. I like a more natural look because that's my everyday.
Right.
Whereas when I put on a ton of makeup, I look like a different person.
Yeah.
You don't.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. You just look like, okay, that's still Michaela.
Oh, just a little bit elevated.
Yeah, I look so different. So that's where you have to know. You have to be comfortable.
Yeah, you definitely have to be comfortable. But that goes back to finding a makeup artist. And we're jumping around right now. We'll get back to it. But finding a makeup artist that will do a style that you like. So we love Olivia Sparks. She's a makeup artist in Huntsville, Alabama. She travels everywhere. Olivia Sparks MUA on Instagram. You can check out her stuff, but she does what she calls a natural elevated look. And so I knew I needed it to be a little bit more full glam because the week prior I was super sick. I was on my period, TMI, but my face was like, I broke out. I was having issues with my psoriasis. And so I knew, and also I'm the palest I've ever been. So with that, I don't have any makeup right now.
Compared to me, like side by side, I literally look like a vampire. I told her to accept the paleness. Pale is the new tan.
But I'm just naturally olive skin. Like I'm Armenian. I just get darker in the summer. And so with that being said, I knew that I needed to invest in the hair and makeup for the shoot because I wanted to feel like myself. I wanted to feel pretty and confident in the shoot. And I knew that if I was doing my own makeup, I would be second guessing myself. So that's why I did it personally for this shoot.
Yeah.
All right. So we've already looked at your brand, your target audience, how you want to position yourself in the market, right? So now once you have all of that nailed down, we're actually going to build a mood board. So what that looks like is you're going to go into Pinterest and you are going to start a whole new board specifically for this photo shoot. And you're just going to scour. You're going to look at different colors that you like, different style of
different
shots,
outfits,
photography styles, outfits, shoes, maybe
chairs
it's a quote
that you want, the way you want furniture to look, the props you want to use.
Do you want to be in a studio or do you like it being a little bit more lifestyle and being in a house or maybe you're in a restaurant, you know, whatever it might be for your business, you need to figure that out and just kind of what you see, what you like that aligns with your target audience and how you want to position yourself. Just start pinning everything. And then once you have that mood board nailed down, go back into it after everything is said and done and start weeding out those photos that you're like, I'm not really drawn to this, or this isn't really me. I just liked it. And start unpinning those.
Like you're narrowing down the vibe.
Yes.
Because you may, like when you add inspo, you may like choose colors over here, neutrals over here. Like it may be all over the place just based on what you like.
Right.
But you've got to narrow it down because you just can't accomplish all of that, the same photographer for the same vibe.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So once you've done that, then it's time to actually understand what style of photos you like. Do you like light and airy? Do you like moody? Do you want those really dark contrasts and those deep tones in there? Do you like flash photography? And then once you have that kind of idea in your head of what you're wanting, then it's time to start looking and sourcing for photographers and videographers. The most
important part.
This is like, we cannot stress this enough. Yeah. This is the most important part of a photo shoot.
And I want to just start what you're about to get into with photographers will not get their feelings hurt. They understand that they all have their own vibe, their own aesthetic.
Yes.
So like, my one business may use a different photographer for this one project, and then we may use a different one for this other one. Yes. It comes back to what we're trying to accomplish, and they understand that, and they know you can't use them for like every single thing.
Yep.
And so this is really important. Like if you already have used a photographer before, they're your friend, maybe they did your headshots or something, but you're going for a more blurry, like retro or something vibe.
Editorial
you may not,
style.
You may not want to use that same photographer, but don't be scared because they can't all accomplish the same look you're going for.
Yes. And if they say that they can, ask for the portfolio of work of that specific style. Because if you get into a shoot and I literally just talked to a friend of mine who did this. She got into the shoot. She thought she liked the style that this girl could do, but then she got the photos back and they were not it. So it's so important to actually understand who you're hiring for your shoot and making sure that they can shoot in the style that you want. And that goes for videographers too. We're blessed with Taylor and Kaylee because Taylor is a photographer. I mean, Kaylee is also a photographer, but she does more of the video front for us. And they work so well together. They understand each other. They're often paired for wedding shoots and things like that. And so they are a perfect little package pair for us. But they have learned to understand exactly what we want, how our brains work, the creative side. And so now it was fun to see in this shoot, they're actually suggesting different shots that they know that we will like.
They're such a cool little duo, but it does help. And I think it helps. Not only do you have to like a photographer's style, but it goes with their personality too. Yeah. I find that our pictures turn out better the more that comfortable they make us feel. And also somebody who won't just stand there. We've had photographers in the past who they will stand there and they won't like pose you.
Yes.
Or they won't tell you look weird, or they won't fix your hair.
Out of place. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'll be like, dang it, my hair is right there in my face and I didn't want it there. Why didn't anyone move it for me?
Yeah.
Or dang it, there's an outlet right there in this picture and it ruins the whole picture. They will be like, hey, cover that, scoot over, move. Cover that outlet, change your leg to this way. You look weird. Don't do that. Yeah. Like they will boss us around, which is very needed.
Yeah. We can't see what they're looking at through the lens. And so make sure that you interview a couple different ones. If you find one that you're like, oh my gosh, this girl is it.
Yes.
Jump on a Zoom call with her, talk about her portfolio, talk about her shot style. How does she work in shoots, or how does he work in shoots? And then if you're like, I'm dead set on this, find two others that you think might work or might be competitors with this person, and just make that confirmation for yourself, because it took us 2 photographers prior to Taylor and Kaylee before we actually found the style that we wanted. And I wish if we would have gone back and actually really understood our target audience and what we were wanting to be as a brand, I feel like we could have eliminated at least one of those, but we didn't do the work on the front end that we now do. And so we've definitely learned from that.
Yes, we've learned a lot. And it wasn't anything wrong with other photographers we talked to or have used.
It just wasn't the style that we wanted.
The style that we wanted. And they all understand that. And it doesn't hurt their feelings, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So interview photographers and videographers, check their travel fees. Are they local to you? Are they not local to you? Do you need to factor a little bit more into your budget?
How many pictures do I get? What's in the turnaround? Stalk their Instagram.
And then once you have that photographer and videographer, we always do both. So you can only do a photographer and you can just have somebody shooting content like behind the scenes on a phone. But we like to have both just because it does create some of those videos help create gifts for our website. They help create some promotional content on Instagram and things
shows
like
behind
that.
The scenes.
And so we just like to have to have both.
Yes.
So once you've done everything, you have your photographer, videographer, then that's when you send your mood board to them. This is a very crucial step, because after they review your mood board, they might not be able to shoot in the way that you want them to shoot.
Yeah.
With the visual direction that you want to go in.
Yes.
So find them, but then make sure they can really shoot in the style that you want that correlates to your mood board.
Well, also sharing the mood board, not only that, because I think it's such a small detail that makes a big impact, but it tells them what equipment they need to bring.
Yes.
And if they're great, they like yesterday, they pulled it up and they're like, did we do this one? Oh, you need to pose like this. We need to get this shot. Or if it's a shot that doesn't require your faces, they can go off and they'll take shots and they won't even need you.
Yeah.
So they will actually look at it and go through it too and use it to make sure they're getting what you want.
Yeah, definitely. So once you have all of that, then it's time to work with them on picking a photo shoot date.
Yes.
So again, you want to make sure that the availability, at least for us, we always do this after we found our photographer, videographer, or we touch base with Taylor and Kaylee, is we always then pick a date on the calendar, make sure it works for both of our schedules. How long is the content shoot for? Okay, this last one was 2 hours long. So we know that we need to put a buffer of 30 minutes at the front, 30 minutes at the back for setup and tear down, and ensure that everything is going off without a hitch during that time. So what is the prep work, the leg work that needs to be done prior to?
Yeah. I also want to say, if you're like me and you have children, I don't like photo shoots super early in the morning because then I won't look the way I want. I like giving myself grace to check in on my emails, get some work done for the day so I'm not stressing about it later.
Yes.
And giving myself time to, especially if you're doing your own hair and makeup, to make sure that I don't have to show up super early. I think some people schedule it early. So that's just my own scheduling tip, is don't do it first thing in the morning.
And I don't know about you, but I'm super puffy in the morning. So I like to just have a little bit of leeway in the mornings to where I can do my ice roller and just like have my normal routine and not feel super rushed right when I get up to be somewhere.
You want to feel more relaxed and confident. So I find that not right in the morning actually really helps.
Definitely.
But then not too late in the day where you're tired and your makeup's worn off.
Okay. So we have our location, or we have our date.
Now
our
location.
Desired date. Now it's location.
My favorite.
So this is kind of a funky one. So
it is.
Let's see.
Especially if you live in a town with not that many photo shoot options. We don't have any studios here, really.
Yeah.
And we don't have like one is like 10 degrees, so it's not like we could do it outside.
No.
And you can't bring a bunch of props outside. So
yeah, so this one was a little funky. I mean, if you live in a bigger city, and when I say this, I mean, obviously y'all see that we are based most of the time in Atlanta, at least I am. But when we do all of our photo shoots, we're actually in Huntsville, Alabama. That's where our preferred hair and makeup artist is. That's where our preferred photographer and videographer is. Yes. And obviously Sahara lives here full time. That's where her other businesses are. So that's where we do all of our shoots, and I just travel in. So with that being said, we needed to find a shot location. We thought she moved into this beautiful new home. So we thought that maybe we could just shoot it here, because we knew off of the mood board that we had created and the visual concepts that we wanted to create, we really only needed like a couch like this, if you're watching on YouTube, my desk office chair that I could easily bring into whatever location we needed, and then a blank white
which we
wall.
Could have done it here.
We could have.
It's just, as you can see, I'm still unpacking.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff over there.
I knew that it would be like, I would have spent my whole morning like just doing too much stuff, and I wouldn't have been ready to go in time for them. So, but once we get the wood floors, this could be a little like, studio.
It could look really good in here.
But yeah, location is so important. And I always think of location spots you don't think of. Like I try to think of places that aren't normally used for like photography. Like I'm not Googling photography studios. A little cheat that is my favorite is to look up event spaces, because they are very cheap during the day, because they don't normally have events and they're not normally booked. And they absolutely love for them to be used as like, come in, take pictures. That's easy. I don't even have to set up for an event.
Yeah.
So look, most towns have some sort of event space. So that's my cheat, is not to Google. I used to like Google photography studios. I look up event spaces now.
And they're typically pretty well done, because they're being used for events. And they typically have pockets in their space that are different or can look like a different room or a different space in general. Yes. And so you could really pull a lot of fun stuff from one space without having to book multiple locations. So with that being said, if you're using a studio, talking through like what your mood board looks like. Does it come with some of the props that you want to use? And we're going to get into like actually building out and planning a prop list, but does it come with some of the props that you want to use? So yesterday we knew that we wanted to use some sort of couch to where both of us could be sitting on it. We could do some different lifestyle shots, branded shots with the couch, without us, you know, certain flat lays and things like that. And so the space that we ended up using had a couch there.
But then you brought your own chair because it didn't have a chair we needed for specific shots.
Exactly. And so with that being said, we ended up using the event space of Banksy. So Banksy is it was actually really neat because that was a event space that we worked with Chase and Tressa Grisham to design their visual identity. And we got to see it in person yesterday for the first time, which was a total pinch me moment because we actually haven't seen any of our work that we've done.
It's cool. We got to work with that business on their branding, and then we got to use their space. So that's always fun.
So that was really, really fun. Okay. So we have our videographer, mood board is done. Everything is working properly. We have our location. We have our date. We have our location. Now for the prop list. This is where shot list and prop list. So I would first say to plan a shot list so then you can understand what props you're actually going to need. So your shot list is really created based off of the photos that you know you're going to be needing. So scour your website.
Usable photos. So you don't just get there and take a bunch of pictures, but then you took too many of the same or you didn't get different angles.
Yeah. Make sure that you're actually planning out specific shots of what you know you're going to need. So look at your website. Are there certain horizontal photos that you're going to need, maybe for some headers on your website, your hero image? Look at your social media. Do you need certain content for real cover photos? Maybe, I mean, they just changed the aspect ratio to, I believe it's 3:4 for carousels for a normal post really on Instagram. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just not what I'm used to.
It's funky because carousels or a normal post on Instagram is what is posted is 4:5, but then your actual aspect ratio for the grid on your feed is 3:4.
I know, it's so weird.
It cuts off a little bit on the sides now. Anyways, long story short. So you're creating your shot list based off of things that you need. So website, social media content, cover photos, marketing materials, print offs, freebie downloadables. Do you need something, a specific shot for those? Do you have a course? Do you need something for your hero image on your course page? All those different types of things. Start thinking through that and weeding through that. And then think through or look at your mood board and see if there's an image that you really want to try
to a prop, use a certain way
from. Yeah, exactly. And create that in your own fashion in your shoot. Make a note of that. That's what we're talking about.
The more details, the better though. I want to give an example of a shot list too. So they have like something to actually think of.
I can, read off?
Yeah. Like read an example of a shot list.
So ours, like I said, is very detailed. Yeah. And as Kaylee said, it was way more detailed.
More details, the better.
Okay, so we had them broken down into both of us, and then just Sahara or Michaela. So both,
or neither of us.
So an option of both. Sitting at round table with focus being on stacked books, papers, laptop in view, working. Other is quote unquote working on phone. Vertical and horizontal. More side angle than top down.
See how detailed that is? And that's what all the prep work comes in, because you're just not going to get the pictures that you want unless you fully plan. There's been photo shoots I've done where we didn't bring enough props. We didn't get the right angle. And then it's like, if you're spending money and time, right, you want to make sure that you have more details, and you can use it as a checklist as you go. Did I get that shot? Check, move on. And it makes it easier on all of us, the photographer and you, to just get through it and get as many shots as possible in those 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And if you need specific shots for, say, you know that your website header needs this one shot where you're a little bit off to the side, you need some more white space over to the left side, you're on the right side so that you can put some text there for your hero image on your homepage. Take those shots first so that you know you're getting them and they're out of the way. And then the rest of the shoot can be more geared towards that creative side and letting your mind kind of flow and more ideas come into play the longer you shoot.
Yes.
And then once you have this nailed down, share that shot list with your photographer and videographer so that they're on the same page with you when you actually get to the shoot location. And things just flow a lot better when you're not the only one in charge of the shot list.
Yeah.
They can also pull it up. Your business partner can pull it up. If you bring somebody day of to shoot behind the scenes content, they have it. And so everybody just is on the same page.
It helps so much.
Over communicate all the time.
Yes.
And then plan that prop list. Once you have your shot list, plan the prop list. Will you need printouts? Will you need a chair? Do you need a sofa? Do you need a phone? Like we have an orange phone that's very signature to our brand, especially with the podcast.
Yeah.
So do we need to bring that? Do we need our orange Stanleys? Do we need blue light glasses? And then it comes to your specific outfits. Once you have your shot list, your prop list, all that is done, and you are really starting to understand the vision of what you're wanting to go with visually for this shoot, that's when we plan our outfits. Now it's a lot easier, like we were talking about. I
feel like this is where we are the worst.
Yes.
Honestly. But it always comes together because we will put on our Pinterest like the style and we both will look at it and make sure. Yeah. But I don't ever look at it and I'm like, okay, order this, do this. I'm more of a like blazer and jeans is my go-to. And I know I'm comfortable in that. And I know I have a lot of that. And so we just make sure we have the same aesthetic, but we're not sitting there going, do this, buy this, order this. Like we don't really fully plan our outfits.
We don't fully plan our outfits, but we stay true to
the colors
ourselves and like what we would normally quote unquote wear if we were going out to like a business meeting or like a business luncheon or a conference or something.
We're not like wearing some crazy dress that we wouldn't normally wear. Like we're making it true to us and trying to follow a good color palette.
Yeah. And just naturally, I'm a little bit more colorful when it comes to, well, not for this past shoot, but for previous shoots and for future shoots. I'm always a little bit more colorful in the clothes that I wear. Like I have an orange blazer. I had an orange leather jacket for this past time, but all things were in my closet because
I had light blue this time.
You did have light blue this time. And Sarah sticks to more of the neutrals. But what I'm saying is like to stay on brand, I purchase things throughout the year.
Yes.
So if I see something that I like that I know I could use for a branding shoot or I know I can use in content, I'm going to go ahead and get that to where when we actually do have a photo shoot, there's not a heavy upfront cost associated with trying to find and piece together the perfect outfits.
Really good though, if you don't know what to wear, how to look, and that's somewhere where you struggle, my go-to would be blazer and jeans or just a black or white shirt with jeans and a cute belt. Like that's something most people have. You don't have to go crazy. You can, if the location is cool, you got some cool props, you can dress more neutral and not worry about, don't make it about the outfit, make it about what you're surrounded by.
And when it comes to outfits, make sure that if you do need to order something for the shoot,
order it way in advance.
Order it way in advance. I'm talking if you know your shoot is in 4 weeks, get everything ordered at least 4 weeks in advance. Because if you're ordering something that's coming from like Australia, then you need to make sure that you have 2 weeks of buffer to get that package in, because we all know that things get delayed. And that's what ended up happening to me. I ordered a pair of shoes just to have in my closet because I loved them and they are beautiful, but they did not come in time. And so I had
2 year.
So they will be used for our 2-year shoot, but I had to use pretty much the same pair of shoes, but from Sahara's closet for this shoot.
Real quick on the props too, which people aren't props, but I do want to bring this up. If you are like a solopreneur, but you need like shots with like to make it look like you're meeting with a client or like somebody else is there, like use friends and family that you know and put them in the photo shoot. We did that before where we had friends come in and just pretend to be like our client so that we could have that extra person. I had one of my marketing assistants for Embry Group come yesterday so that she can be in somewhere where we needed like somebody for like to sit at a table with us. Yeah. So just use friends and family. They love it. They get some pictures.
Yeah, they do. And they think it's so cool because they're part of a photo shoot too. And it's an opportunity for them to get dressed up and feel all girly. I don't know. That's at least how we are. But yeah, that's a great node too. So if you're wanting to get those behind the scenes shots, bring somebody else. Ask, if you have a sister or maybe not brother, I don't know, unless they're really good with the camera. But yeah, ask your friend, ask your sister, ask your mom. Heck, if they can come and shoot some behind the scenes content for you so that you have that prior to getting your photos and videos back.
Yeah, because you're going to be too busy taking pictures, but you do want the behind the scenes stuff because you can use it for even more content, which is the beauty of this all. I mean, at the end of the day, we typically have over 300 pictures.
Yep.
And then we'll have like over 100 like videos or pictures in terms of like behind the scenes. So think about how much content that is within 2 hours that you really just can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. And that content for us typically lasts us about 6 months because we heavily use our content all throughout our marketing collateral, website, social media, downloadables, all that kind of stuff in our email marketing campaigns and things like that. So just make sure that you actually are utilizing what you're paying for across as many facets as you can. And then the only other thing that I'll note is day of, build in 30 minutes prior to your start time and then after everything ends to where you have time to get to the shoot location, set up,
clean up,
get a coffee in you if you need it. Start laying out some of your flat lays, layout prep, things like that. We love talking about branding photo shoots. We recommend them to every single one of our clients that we work with on the Refined Marketing side. So if you have questions, DM us. We'd love to hear about it. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at Rise and Refine Podcast or at Refine Marketing _. And yeah, leave us a review.
Yeah, leave us a review on Spotify or iTunes. And yeah,
y'all have a great week. Happy Monday.
Oh, happy Monday.